Hi, have you ever heard the term 1099 or maybe W-9? This little video is going to talk to you about what those are and where you can get started. First of all, the IRS requires that cities file a 1099 MISC, which stands for miscellaneous, for all non-employee compensation. Now that would be the car dealer who does auto work on the trucks or on the squad car, or it might be Aaron's Auto Parts where they may fix a tire or something like that. Or it could be for someone that mows for the city. So those are all non-employee compensations. And there are certain rules that the IRS has about who qualifies to get a 1099 MISC, and you can find all of those regulations on irs.gov. But for right now, let's just start with the idea that if it is a vendor who does a service for you in excess of $600 a year, then there's a good chance you're going to have to give him a 1099 MISC by January 31 of the next year. It also means that you'll have to send a transmittal or a copy of your 1099 MISC files to the IRS. Again, that's going to be a January 31 deadline. But at a minimum, why don't you first start with getting a W-9 from every single vendor that you have. So what is a W-9? It's a form that looks like this. Again, you can get that form from irs.gov, and you can have your vendors fill these all in. And the important part here is that you want to know if it's an individual or a proprietary, LLC, attorneys, things like that. If they're a corporation, if they're a partnership, that's going to be one of the triggers telling you that you do or do not have to give them a 1099 MISC. If they're incorporated, you don't have to worry about it, but you can't make that determination. They have to tell you what kind of organization they are. Sometimes it may be helpful for you to withhold payment until this form is returned. Most vendors are used to having to fill these out, so it's just routine that they'll fill it out and send it back to you. But others, you may have to call them or maybe withhold that payment until they absolutely get the information to you. Then what do you do with the information? Well, if your computer has the capacity, usually it's in the vendor master file, to put in their social security number or their employee identification number and flag them as an individual or a proprietor, then your system will help you identify and print out the 1099 MISs. So that's awesome. If you don't have that capacity in your computer, then by all means create a 1099 file for yourself and put all of your W-9s in there so that at the end of the year, meaning the end of the calendar year, December 31, you can pull a report from your computer, or maybe you have to compile it manually to find out who does and does not qualify to get a 1099 MIS. One of the other big triggers for receiving a 1099 MIS is if it is your city attorney. Regardless of what their status is, you're going to want to give them that 1099 MIS, even from $1. So ignore that $600 threshold for the attorney. He starts or she starts from $1. I hope you found this little video helpful. It is not covered in great detail in the manual. We appreciate that. But on the other hand, we want to make sure that you know your requirements, because there's a short window between December 31st when you have to close the totals and get the 1099 MISCs and your W-2s and everything else done by January 31st. Good luck.